So I have to make a whiskey confession, and it's all due to this bottle. Welcome to KIllco Whiskey Musings. Please remember to like and subscribe. So House Tully, the Singleton. How could I possibly have a confession about this whiskey? The confession is, it's unopened. So I guess this means I'm an official whiskey tuber now, because there was a bottle of whiskey I've had and just totally forgot that I never opened it. Most people open their bottles during the height of the Game of Thrones series. I'm going to wait until it's completely irrelevant, and then I'm going to do it. Thankfully, that was incredibly easy to open. And of course, this is a neck pour, if that means anything to you. Ooh, I can already smell it. I've noticed a strange trend. I've gotten a dream is a wish your heart makes stuck in my head numerous times when I'm about to pour whiskey. I'm not quite sure what that means. If it means anything at all. Until I figure out a better way to do this. This is where the display bottle's going to be. Beginning with the color. It looks like it's around this area to me. I can't read what that says. Alright, I lean forward. It says burnished. I think burnished is what I would say. You tell me. Could be a little lighter, could be a little darker. Again, lighting is weird, cameras are weird, it's a thing. And before I forget, this one is 40%. Begin nosing technique. Oof, okay. Mustyish Scotch? This is going to be a malt thing for me. I always get this. I've said it numerous times. It feels weird doing videos when you've said the same thing many times. You start to feel like you're repeating yourself. It's a different whiskey every time. It's fine. Citrus notes of lemon. I guess that's malt. It's weird kind of funkiness. I've yet to find a good word for it. It does kind of smell like grain, but not quite in the way I would expect it to. You know, I think of, bread. Now, I don't even know if I've been around one of these, but I'm thinking of a grain silo. Maybe that's kind of what it smells like in one of those. I really don't know. I've been to plenty of farms, though. Maybe there's been grain laying around. Or stables. There's a lot of grain stuff around in stables. I feel like it's sweet as well. There's a little bit of sweetness to it. To be honest, my nose is not used to having whiskey being forced into it this early in the morning. Well, not forced into it. I mean, we could try that. It's not a good idea, but it's got kind of a candy sweetness to it. Maybe honey. Honey sounds pretty good. As weird as this is going to say, I did think it. I mean, it smells kind of young. Like a young grain alcohol kind of deal. That feels weird. Granted, there is no age statement on this. I'm also thinking of a pear, although still not 100% sure on what pears smell and taste like. I just thought of the word floral. I was kind of going through the checklist, and it does have a bit of a floral note to it. Exactly what kind of flower, though? It is very pleasant. It's kind of a light floral. My brain's going towards the herbal area right now as well, probably because I was just talking about flowers. Started going to the vegetation, the plants, and there's something in here. I'm going to do an episode someday where I just sniff a whole bunch of herbs so I can get this down. But there's something slightly herbal about it, kind of a green, grassy-ish thing. On to sipping. It is now 11:04 in the morning. Cheers. Oh yeah. It's very drinkable. Oh, I enjoyed that. I'm starting to question, am I enjoying it because it's an interesting whiskey or because I'm having whiskey in the morning? That could be a problem. First sip out of the way, going for the hold on the tongue and then explore a bit and try to pick things apart. Ooh, peppery. Slight citrus. Dry. That's weird. My tongue just went dry. It's not as sweet as I expected. I have to drink a little more. Yeah, slight citrus, a little bit of sweetness. I think I'm correct with the honey bit. But I am most surprised at how much of a drying effect it's having on my tongue. It's like a dry wine kind of deal. On to phase 2. This is going a little faster than usual because it's early and I want to get this video done. Color. Well, gold. Gold pale straw-ish. It is clear. I'm sorry there's not much in the glass, but again, early. Don't want to drink much of it. Sediments, no. Viscosity. It does have a decent viscosity, but I'd still say light. I know it's 40%. And I will say again, I'm fairly certain these graphs I'm using for my tasting analysis are often used in a blind pour, so you would not even know what it is. I know what this is. Onto the nose. Intensity. I'll give it a 2. It's Not exactly what I'd call delicate. Age, I said youthful earlier. I'm going to stick with it. I have a feeling this is a blend. I assume a fairly decent amount of time because it is Scotch. And the color's pretty nice. Barrel, in this case, I did read something. And these were aged in ex-bourbon barrels. So it's used oak. Okay, I'm going to go with malt, definitely. I'm not sure if I'm able to pick out malt easily. I'll have to do a blind of a variety of different, a mix of things. But since I live alone by myself, it's kind of hard to blind myself easily. I'll figure it out someday. Someday. Smoke, none. Spice on the nose. I actually didn't get many spices. I almost want to say clove, and there's something almost minty about it. This makes sense to anyone. It's a Christmas mint. So it's probably peppermint. Sweet. I said honey. I'll stick with honey. I'm looking at raisin pretty hard too. But I feel like that's one I should be able to pick out very easily. But we're going on nose here. I don't usually go smelling raisins. I know the taste of raisins. It's something I'm not a huge fan of. Floral. Of course I want to say honeysuckle because I know it's a fairly light smelling flower. Wine. There's no wine. Fruits. I went with lemon and pear. I'm starting to memorize these, which isn't good. Sulfur. No sulfur notes that I can tell. Peat, though there's nothing peaty about this. I've seen the word medicinal, and I'm kind of leaning towards it, but also that tends to be something I equate with alcohol, or rubbing alcohol, or disinfecting alcohol. So if there's a certain thing about the alcohol in here that's bugging me, I will probably just call it medicinal. Earth. This one's always fun. I said herbal. The word brine has caught my attention. Maybe there is a bit of salt in this, but also I might be unintentionally influenced by the fact that there's a fish logo on this. And I may just be thinking about the sea and trying to put that in this glass. Not sure. I don't know enough about the distillery to know exactly where it is. But that'd be kind of funny if it was near the ocean. On to the palate. Flavor is sweet. And I kind of want to say maybe a little salty. I'm going down this path with the salt. That's not good. Proof is low because 40%. The body's fairly light. I have to say this every time. Body and texture are really weird to me. I don't have a solid definition of both of them in my head, but if you look up the definitions of both, they're kind of blah. Texture, I'd say, is pretty light and delicate. Balanced. Does any element dominate? The element that dominates for me is just the dry note at the end. The taste of it's pretty simple and goes fairly quickly. This is a nice introductory Scotch. The finish is actually pretty long. I'd say 4, because that dry note just, your tongue is dry, and of course makes you want another sip, but it lasts. Complexity, I'm leaning towards low, because I only got a few notes out of it. Since this is a special release, the distillery's website wouldn't have much on it, because why would they? So I'm going to the website called whiskyexchange.com, and we'll see what they say about it. But first, let's read the back. Best served with a splash of water, this Scotch has notes of green apple, honey, and sweet vanilla, and finishes dry and clean. Hey. Not quite sure why I was getting lemon instead of apple, but that's fine. One thing I didn't say earlier is it is a Speyside. Back to the website. Aged in ex-bourbon casks, the single malt has a light straw shimmer and a heady opening of Madagascan vanilla on the nose. I've never had Madagascan vanilla, I don't think. Followed by a hint of clove spice. Oh, I said clove? Yeah. On the palate, the initial drive is fresh green apples. Why is everyone else getting damn apples? Then the clove flavor from the nose is there, but accompanied by a warm cinnamon note. Finish slips into a red berry flavor with a vanilla and a hint of cherry bakewell. What is that? Tasting notes feel a lot like what I just said, but I'm going to read them anyway. The light straw shimmer of the liquid hints at the cask lineage of this single malt that is 100% ex-bourbon casks. That's confirmed by the heavy Madagascar vanilla opening on the nose, followed by a suggestion of sweet clove spice that develops over time. Palate. On the palate, it's initially driven by orchard fruits like apple. The clove returns, but now with cinnamon as the palate develops. Finish. The finish moves away from citrus into a red berry compote. You cherry thing. With vanilla cheesecake. Oh, and a pronounced cereal spice finish. And there you have it, folks. My morning whiskey. It's actually pretty decent, and as I said, I would certainly give this to anyone who's curious about going into the Scotch area. Until next time, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I'll see you out there. Thank you for joining me on KIllco Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.